Good afternoon. Welcome to our nutrition and healing program. Hopefully you've had a wonderful week, you and your families. I'm Zakaria Azar, your host for the program. Today we're going to be discussing a very important topic that often gets overlooked. And typically in our lives here, living in the cities that we live in, we don't get a lot of breaks, and we don't get a lot of scenery or nature in our lives here in the cities that we live in. So we're constantly going from one task to another, one event to another, and this in its own nature leads us to have a life which is sort of filled with it's a lack of breaks, a lack of time to reflect, a lack of time to ponder on what we're doing and to gather our thoughts. We're going from one thing to the next, and this usually leads to what we know or what is called stress. And stress is often overlooked in terms of our healing processes and the depletion in our nutrition. A lot of our experience with stress is that, hey, if you have a stressor, people tell you to relax, take it easy, take a deep breath, do some deep breathing exercises, and you'll be fine. But as this stress accumulates in our lives, because of our fast-paced lives and because of multiple tasks that we carry out and do during the day, it can manifest in multiple ways in our lives and in our bodies. And typically what will happen is, for our nutritional values in terms of our nutritional vitamins and supplements, we get deficiencies. We get what's known as a malabsorption syndrome, whether it's in our gut or it's in our digestive system. We don't get enough nutrients that we need for our bodies to be healthy. And in turn, it affects our healing systems, so that if we do have some type of pathology, it'll take longer and harder for our bodies to recuperate from that. And we often forget that the core issue is stress. I read an article that said they can contribute 65 to 70% of visits to a healthcare practitioner attributed to stress. A lot of people have stress that gets no attention, and it accumulates, and eventually it causes some type of issue where they have to go into their healthcare practitioner for attention and treatment. It's very important for us to look at this from our lens of nutrition and healing and see how we can increase our defenses in the body against stressors, whether they're environmental stressors or they're behavioral stressors based on our actions and our daily routines, or whether they're stressors that are altering our thought process, where there's things that we kind of think about over and over again, and this overthinking naturally affects our body and our healing system. So these are the things that we should think about, and we should try to analyze whether we do have stressors in our bodies or in our daily lives or in our environment, and see how we can sort of deal with these stressors. Yes, the easy way is, take a step back, relax, do some breathing exercises, make some time for, mindfulness is a very important term nowadays. Let's say you got to have, deliberate mindfulness, which is very important. They recommend that you take, exercise for your body, so you're getting that oxygen and CO2 exchange. You're increasing your blood flow to all your organs, and you're getting all that. And then, meditation, relaxation, massage. These things are all very good. Yoga is another remedy for stress, and these things help. But when we look at it from a nutritional level, we have to make sure that we have enough nutrients and enough vitamins and enough of these macronutrients and micronutrients so our body can cope with the stresses. And on this level, there have been a few double-blind studies that we read about that tell you that vitamin B complex is very important from the nutritional standpoint when dealing with stress. There have been studies that show that people that take vitamin B complex have a much better experience with stressors in their daily lives, whether it's physical stressors or mental stressors. They tend to cope with them much better. I can get you the exact study if you want. Please note on the comments, and we can get you the exact study so you can read it for yourself. But this is very important. You know, B complex and folate and folic acid, very important for stress reduction. They also recommend B complex for people who are in a depressive states as well. People that are in depressive states, they give them, you know, medication, but they'll also give them the B vitamins because the B vitamins seem to help. And this is something which is important, and something where you can look at nutritional levels of different fruits and vegetables and see what provides high B vitamins and B complexes. And if you're not getting enough of those types of vegetables and foods, then you can supplement and get a good B complex for yourself. And you can always discuss that with your doctor and see what they recommend for you. But it's very important to keep that in mind and look at stress as something which is affecting your health process. It's very important to keep that in mind. If 65 to 70% of office visits in terms of a family practice doctor are based on stress, then that's a huge chunk. That's a huge chunk of reason why people go into their healthcare providers. That's very important to keep in mind. And other things that stress can lead to, of course, is if it's chronic stress, it can lead to anxiety. It can lead to excessive weight gain. It could also lead to other types of musculoskeletal problems. Blood sugar levels would go high and stay high. Your blood metabolism gets altered. Your blood pressure gets altered as well. And then your digestion and your appetite gets altered as well. So these things all affect your health and also your immune response. So you'll get more susceptible to viral and bacterial infections. That's something, if your stress level's high, you're more susceptible. So that's something to keep in mind. And then eventually, it can lead to heart disease and memory issues, as well as sleep problems and depression itself. So it's very important to try to get a grip on the stress initially and identify it. Once you identify it, then you can try to make a plan, whether it's if it's a physical ailment, then of course see your doctor and discuss it with them. But if it's something where it's just cognizant and you need some type of help, you can always refer to a therapist or a psychologist or someone that can help you cope with that stress. Many healthcare or mental health care workers nowadays have cognitive behavioral therapy methods that can help you cope with your stressors. But in order for that to happen, you have to identify it first, right? Identify it first, and then identify any nutritional deficiencies you might have. Identify all that so you can mitigate the circumstances. And then for better health, then you can discuss it with the healthcare practitioners or mental health care practitioners so that they can have a remedy for you. It's very important. And then, of course, B complex and folate, these things are very important as well, because I would look at the nutritional aspects of it first before getting on any type of regular medication or meds. It's important to do that. I think it's important to discuss that with your healthcare practitioners again. So antidepressants or natural antidepressants, it's the B nutrients are very important. There's a new herb called ashwagandha. Look that up. Ashwagandha is being labeled or marketed as a very, very important mood stabilizing herb. It's a supplement, so look it up, read about it, and see how you do if you like it. That's something which is out there now, and it's being a lot of people have seen good results with it. That's important. So try that and check it out and discuss it with your doctor and tell them, and show it to your doctor, see what they recommend for you. And then, of course, the B complex is obviously it's something that people have been taking for years, and it's part of the regular regimen that a lot of people take on a daily basis. That can help you. Make sure you get a good quality B regimen. Or the other option is you have a lot of these drip companies now that are out there, and they give you IV drips in terms of nutritional supplements and nutritional IV nutrition. That's something to discuss with your doctor as well. If you're a good candidate for that, that's something to take as well. That would help balance out the B complex and other vitamins. So these are some things you can do. But again, high dose vitamin B complex, there's a randomized double placebo study that showed that it benefits. Folic acid, specifically B12 and B6. These are the ones that are very important. And then the other thing is, before you sleep, for nutrients, tryptophan is very important. Tryptophan, it's in turkey meat and it's in milk. If you drink warm milk at night, that has a lot of tryptophan, and that calms you down and relaxes you, and it's a de-stressor. So that's something which a lot of people recommend, and it helps the neurotransmitters in the brain, and it helps with calming the individual down. So those are the things you can take. Unfortunately, nowadays, we have in society a lot of illicit drugs that people take, whether it's marijuana, or they smoke, or they do hookah. These things, are downers, but still, what they do is they ruin your lungs. They have lots of chemicals that you breathe in, and they increase the risk of other types of pathologies that you might get for the lungs. So it's not really something which is beneficial in the long run. The harm outweighs the benefit. So you should keep that in mind. A lot of people look to smoking for relaxing and for calming down, but in the long term, it's a detriment. So you have to be careful about that for you, for your kids, for your elders, whoever's around you. And you don't want to be the source of secondhand smoke either, because smoking has directly been correlated with cancer in the lung. So it's really not. It's a short-term solution for some, but it's not something which is conducive to health in the long run. So I would stay away from that, definitely. Those are the things that affect, the stressors in life and decrease or mitigate the risks from stressors. That's very important to keep in mind. Again, in general, health issues arise and become synthesized in the body as a health issue from overactive thinking or negative thinking, and from having generally a pessimistic view on things. That's something where we can cognitively try to change that. And if you're incessantly thinking about something over and over again and it's negative, it's much better to try to snap out of that and think about other things, or change the subject, or change your mind, or change your settings around you so that you could have new thoughts and positive thoughts. That's very important, very effective on the outcome of your health. So keep that in mind. Stress is a major factor which alters your nutrition and your healing in terms of your body and in terms of your lifestyle. So keep that in mind. It is an issue. Look into it. Identify the stressors. take your supplements that are recommended, discuss it with your healthcare practitioners, and have a plan. That's the most important thing. If you have a plan for it, then your stressors will be mitigated, and it won't cause all these issues for you moving forward. And the best thing is to have a positive outlook on situations that you end up in, and try to make the best out of every situation, because that situation will pass, and you're not in it, and you're not stuck in it for an eternity. It's a temporary situation. It will change, as does everything else in life. So if you have that mindset, I think you'll be fine. Your stress levels will not get to the point where it'll affect your overall healing in a negative way. And then keep yourself up with nutritionally dense foods, vegetables, drinks, smoothies, shakes, all those things that you can take that are good for the brain, that are good for the health in general. Those things will help you. With that, we'd like to end today's show. We'll see you next week with another topic on nutrition and healing. Thank you, and have a wonderful week.